I've got to say, I really enjoyed that. Hi, how's everyone doing? Good to have you back. Apologies I didn't get the review out for the FA Cup tie. But speaking of the FA Cup, there was the FA Youth Cup that went on tonight at Blundell Park, and uh, like I just said there um, for the intro, the video, that was really good, wasn't it? If anybody was either at Blundell Park this evening or was able to actually buy the stream on Mariners TV, um, I've got to say that is one of the best um, football matches I've seen in a long time, and I'm not just saying that as a Grimsby fan. That is one of the best matches I have actually seen um, in a long time. The standard of football that's been played by both sets of lads was phenomenal. You know, it was mostly on the deck. It was quick 1-2 passing. Um, when there was a long ball, there was purpose behind it. It was kind of like everything was done with a purpose. I'm going to say that was Cluffy ball all over, because that, I'm sure if Brian Clough had been alive, I'm sure Brian would have absolutely have really enjoyed that. And obviously, I wasn't able to get to Blundell Park this evening, so I was able to get the stream and I was able to watch it. I didn't see much of the first half. I didn't see the first 10 minutes, and Town didn't look overawed at all in that. They dominated the first 10, 15 minutes, and it was like, I was pleasantly surprised to see that we'd got in at half time 0-0, because to be fair, what I saw, we played really well, but second half you were just hoping that Town would carry on doing it. Both goalkeepers looked confident. They were able to hold a lot of the chances that were made, and it was to be honest, it was just a pleasure to sit there during the second half and go, this is what our young boys are doing. This is the level of or quality of football that Neil Woods is delivering. And again, Town kept up with what they wanted to do, and they were passing the ball 1-2 touch all over again, and getting it wide when they could. The crossing wasn't necessarily the best. A lot of the crosses that Town put in were sort of like going all the way along, or across the box, but with about 20 minutes or so to go, they started to sharpen that up. And but I am going to give some credit to Nottingham Forest. They played just as well. They were great on the ball. They passed and they moved it, and it was again, I've already said it twice, it was a pleasure to watch. I'll give you the team that did start the game for Grimsby Town. Seb Orton was in goal. Billy Bradley, Cameron Walsh, Harvey Cribb, Finley Abraham, Alfie Foy, Callum Storr, Henry Brown, obviously Cam Gardner, Charlie Clemens, Jack Collins, and the subs that we used were Harry Shipstone on 86 minutes, Fortune Anoa, and Grayson Giles. I was on 71 and 110 for Fortune. And obviously we know a little bit about Cameron Gardner, and it was it, the game in general was just a great game of football to watch, and obviously we did get the extra time win when Henry Brown got the goal, and that is and it was a cracking finish as well that Henry got. We kind of picked it up, played it nice through the middle, played a nice threaded ball through, and a good ball across, and just across to Henry, sort of just outside the D, and he arrowed one absolutely perfect into the top right hand corner as I was looking at it, and it was like, well done, lad. I mean, that was absolutely. If we'd have seen that on a Saturday afternoon, I don't think anyone would have complained. It was it was a competitive, game, and I think full of comments. I don't think we've lost this season, or we've lost very few times a youth team this season. So it says in the review on the website that we came in with a lot of confidence. We have already had wins this season in the FA Cup at Shrewsbury Town was the first round win, and then a 5-1 win at South Shields. So Grimsby were coming in with a lot of confidence, a 12-match unbeaten run into this, and you can see why, because again the passing, the movement, did I mention again it was a joy to watch? Cam Gardner, you can see why he was given pro terms and the promise the young lad had. But we've got a lot of promise in that youth team if that is the way that Neil Woods is setting the teams up and getting them to play football, believing in themselves at that age. And I think that is one, like I said, one of the best games of football, where that involves my side or not. I think all us Mariners fans would agree, especially the ones that were there. And if you did watch it on stream, even if we would have lost that game, I would not have come away disappointed with that. That was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, they had a great first 10 minutes. Second half, then no changes were made for the second half, and I thought the referee had a good game as well. But again, in the second half, Grimsby just carried on doing what they were doing. There's a bit more pressure early on from the Forest team, and even though they weren't putting our goalkeeper under a lot of pressure, they were still playing some good stuff, but we were getting some good blocks in, and I just think it was just an absolute sheer delight. And then when that goal went in, we had a chance close towards the end of normal time, and we just still kept going. Both teams get going the same way. They didn't relent. Again, when the long chip balls were going, they were going with purpose. They were going with meaning. They weren't just aimlessly aimed away. The defending, though, if they could, they did just boot it away because why not? And even when Forest, did pick it up, they didn't. They tried to play football all the way through, and I think that is a testament to Nottingham Forest. They a couple of years ago made the FA Youth Cup final. That was under Guy Brazil, who's recently just left Nottingham Forest. But you can see why Forest have done so well in the youth ranks. But you can also see why we do so well, and people such as Harry Clifton and Max Wright and Matty Pollock and Evan Corey and to name a few, have come through and tried to make it a burst into the first team. Some more successful than others. Cam Gardner does look like a real prospect, but there's a lot of looks like real prospects that are really trying to play football. And I was overjoyed. For Henry when he got that goal, because it was a goal of absolute sheer quality. He just came onto the ball when it went just outside the 18-yard box and literally side-footed it right into the top corner. It was sublime. And we can't say the lads didn't deserve it. And in a way, I think the Forest team were very, very unlucky. I think if I was a Forest fan, I'd be, again, very, very proud of their boys for the way they played. And probably feel a little bit unlucky, but I think, all credit to our lot. And it was a pleasure to watch tonight as Grimsby ran out 1-0 winners in the first round of the FA Youth Cup, which puts us into the fourth round, and we'll see who we get from that. Before I finish this video, though, I just want to give some credit to the man of the youth team, and of course I'm talking about. I am going to call him a Grimsby Town legend because that's what he is. Mr. Neil Woods. A real nice gentleman. Will always say hello to you if you see him. And I was thinking all the way through the game while I was watching it. I don't think Neil gets the credit. Maybe because of who he manages. At least within, I think, fans and things like that. I'm sure within the game and the coaching team, the youth setups, he is. To me, he's one of the best youth coaches in the country. And that is absolutely bar none. Just because he's not at the biggest club doesn't mean he's a... maybe if he was at a Forest, a Liverpool or something like that, he'd probably get more prominence. But I think the youth coaches don't get, the credit because most of it falls on. We look at the first team, but I think the way that Neil sets up his teams, that's the first time I've seen the youth side play in a long time. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Neil Woods because he is one of the best youth coaches I think there is in the country. Most of the time when he's been at the club, he had that little stint when we went down in 2010. But I don't hold that against Woodsy at all. But Woodsy is a man, he's a lovely man whenever I've met him. He's always said hello and we've had a little chat here and there. But I also know that when he left us after that managerial run, he went to Walsall, and I know that they think very, very, very highly of Neil, because I think that was probably their most fruitful period from a youth perspective under Neil, and I think we have that. We've had that. One of our most fruitful periods of youngsters, in a way, is coming through Neil being here. And Neil, he plays football how you should play it, which is on the floor. And but like I said, I just don't think Neil gets the credit for what he does, because we don't all go to the youth games, and we probably should all make an effort more to go to youth games when we get a chance, because that was really, really impressive tonight. But Neil Woods is definitely a town legend, but he's a fantastic youth coach. And what I've seen in that game against Forest this evening, you can see why so many players are close to first team. And it's down to, obviously it's down to the hard work of the lads, and that should never ever be understated. But Neil, I think as a fan base, I think we have to respect what Neil is doing at the youth team, and I'm overjoyed to have Neil as our youth coach, because the youth team, over the time that he was there before, like I said, then spent about 4 or 5 years at Walsall, and then came back in around about 2016. It's just he's a man that deserves a lot of respect. I know fans of a certain age love Neil Woods as a player. I unfortunately I was a little young to really appreciate Neil as a player, but as a coach, an absolute gem, and he just showed tonight that the young lads believe in his messages. They're being taught the right way, and we should be very, very hopeful for the future under Neil, because I think what he's been able to do and what he's been able to achieve with the youth team, and the amount of players that have had youth team experience or with us, or even gone on and played somewhere else. Prime example is, I think it was at Ross County. Roman Burrell got their Player of the Month, obviously from a Grimsby youth product. Obviously Matty Pollock with his big move to Watford, and he's had a good couple of loans out in the EFL as well, and Scotland in Aberdeen. All these players that in a way have come through Neil Woods and the academy here. We may not always have seen them all, but it shows when you have people like Neil and Callum Lester, I believe, that does the coaching alongside Neil in the youth team. Tonight is just proof that Grimsby are on the right path with young players, and I think we've got the right manager as well in in David Artell to embrace this, because he's a youth coach himself. He was a former youth coach himself, so I think and him and Neil would have come across each other obviously when Grimsby and Crews youth teams were going head to head, and I'm sure they probably came up for each other when Neil was at Walsall as well. So it's just a pleasure. I want to say well done to the boys and good luck in the next round, but also well done to Nottingham Forest's youth team. You definitely are a good team, and it was a pleasure to watch them play this evening. If you did go to the game, I didn't hear what the actual official attendance was. It looked like there was at least a few hundred there at Blundell Park, and it must have been such a thrill for the young lads to actually play on the Blundell Park pitch. And anyone that was there, what was it like for you to watch it from where I was watching it at home. It was just a joy. It was an absolute joy. So, if there's one thing for certain, I think we can be very, very encouraged about what is the future of Grimsby Town, or even the prospects that we might not even. Hopefully, we do get to see a lot of these boys in a Grimsby shirt, but if we don't, we could have some investments there. So it's just like I said, Neil Woods deserves so much credit for what he has done for Grimsby as youth coach in this time and his first time there. And thank you, Neil. You do a fantastic job, and Callum as well. You both do a fantastic job with the youth team, and what I watched tonight gives me a lot of hope for the future. So the final score was Grimsby Town 1, Nottingham Forest 0 in the third round of the FA Youth Cup. If you did go there, and we'll find out, I'll actually do a video on the fourth round and who Grimsby will end up with in the fourth round. But if you did go to the game tonight, what was your opinions on it? And what's your opinions on the youth team and on Neil Woods specifically? But I literally left after watching the game. I literally left my office and went, wow. If that is what we're delivering at youth level, it's wow. So again, leave your comments down below if you did go, or if you looked out for the result. Let me know how you feel about Grimsby getting through to the fourth round of the FA Youth Cup. I'm ecstatic for the boys and hope this run of 13 games unbeaten carries on. They haven't been beaten since the start of September. So keep it going, boys, and proud of you. And what I saw tonight was absolutely phenomenal. And Callum and Neil, you've got it going there, lads. Just keep it going. You're doing the right things. So that is my review of it. So that is me to be done. Please do like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell button. That will let you know when I do upload content. And I'll be back with a preview for. I'm going to call this the David Artell Derby. When Grimsby host Crewe on Saturday. So look out for my preview on that. Hit the bell. That'll let you know when that goes live. And I'll speak to you guys real soon with the next video. All I can say is, wow.